In this section, we continue our examination of the components of CSS rules by talking a little bit about properties and focusing on common property values. Now that we know how to select HTML objects, we need to figure out what to do with them. Of course, we are probably interested in changing something about that object, so it may be helpful to know what all we can change about an object. Now, I would love to just list out all of those properties right here, right now, but it's kind of difficult to do that because there are far too many of those different properties. In fact, after the next couple of sections, the rest of this course is dedicated to looking at all the different properties that you can set with CSS. But what I'll do now is take a look at the general groups of properties that we can set and make some general statements that will come in handy later on. It is important to note that not all properties are available for every single object. The properties that are available will be partly determined by the type of the HTML object that our targeted element is. So here are the general types of properties that we can set. So first of all, we have font settings, and this is going to include font size as well as what font we should actually use to display our content. Next up is our color settings, and we've actually already taken a look at how we can set some of this. So we can set the foreground and background colors of our different elements. Then we have our box settings. The box settings are talking about things like width and height of our different HTML elements. And of course, there's more to it than just that, but we will talk about that quite a bit more in an upcoming movie. Next, we have position settings. Now, the position settings are those CSS properties that will determine whether or not an object scrolls with the screen, or if it's static, or where an element will appear on the screen. And lastly, we have our image settings. Our image settings are going to allow us to set images as backgrounds as well as change the different properties of our image so that we can offset it and create things such as scriptless image rollovers. As I already mentioned, but feel necessary to repeat, we are going to go more in depth with these general properties as we progress throughout the course. For the rest of this section, I discuss some of the values used by multiple properties. These include how to set color values, establish sizes, and setting up links to external content. Now, some of our properties will be sharing the property values that we see inside of this section. However, others will not. In fact, some properties are going to have their own unique settings for their specific options. As we progress throughout this course, I will be covering all of the possible values for each property as we investigate them. But for now, the following movies will go a long way to help bring some clarity to those common property values and how values work in general.